Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Welcome to video 5 in my monthly series, Stampin' Up! Scrapbooking. Today, I will create a double page layout featuring products from Stampin' Up's 2024-2025 annual catalog. I will be featuring two paper collections, Mediterranean Blooms and Country Woods, and the spotlight on nature dies. The design I'll be sharing is fantastic for multi-photo layouts. It could be for Christmas, family reunions. I'm using it for travel photos. The idea is it's a quick and easy design to document tons of photos. Everything I use will be listed below along with my link to Stampin' Up! And if you live in Canada and use the link, I will get a commission. If you have a local demonstrator, by all means support him or her. But if you don't and something interests you, thank you very, very much. And just so that you know, Stampin' Up! Has a fun promotion at the moment called Celebration, and it ends February 28th, 2025. Customers earn free gifts for every 75 Canadian dollars spent or $60 US. So let's get started and see what's on my desk. I have a pile of photos here from my recent trip to France. So basically I have two 3.5 by 5 photos and 9 wallet photos. So I have 11 photos here. And you can see that the wallet photos are all matted once and the 3.5 by 5 are all double matted. Now what I want to do is show you the paper I have. So it all comes from this catalog here. It's the annual catalog from 2024-2025. The main paper collection is this Mediterranean Blooms. That's what I'm showing you right now. I'm showing it to you in the catalog because I've used quite a bit of it. I didn't buy any of the dies or embellishments. I only bought the paper pack. I found it beautiful, but it kind of scared me. But I'm actually having quite a bit of fun with it. So I'm just giving you an idea of what it looks like with the paper that I have left. It comes with 12 pattern papers in 2 of each design. So there's 6 different designs. I also paired it with the Country Woods paper pack, again, in that same catalog. And this is basically a bunch of different wood grains in different colors. I find it's a great staple. It is a great way to kind of tame down bold prints. And you'll see how I do that throughout the process. In addition to that, I have the Spotlight on Nature dies. These are basically nested circle dies, but they're just a little bit fancier. There are 3 different patterns within these nested circles that are almost like embossed or cut out images around the outside of the circle. I also have those alphas. Those are from thickers called Navy. My foundation pages is going to be 2 pieces of 12 by 12 white cardstock. That's called Willow from Stampin' Up. I'm showing you a pair of scissors and one of those papers from the Mediterranean Blooms. My main embellishment is going to be fussy cut lemons. And here are the other papers I have selected for this layout. So I have some navy cardstock, Night of Navy. It coordinates with this kit. I have some paper from that Mediterranean Blooms and paper from that Country Woods collection. So now what I want to do is start cutting up a bunch of paper. The flip side of this tile paper is a beautiful lemon and orange print. I used it on another layout. You will see it in my layout chair at the end of February. So today I'm going to be using that tile print, and I'm cutting down some other pieces as well. Basically, what I'm going to be doing here is creating a wide border on the left-hand page and then a mat that spans across the 2 pages. And you will see what that looks like in a few moments. And what I will do as well, of course, is put measurements for all of my page parts on the screen. First, what I want to do is add a bit of ink to all of these papers, and the ink I'm using is Morning Mist by VersaFine Clair. So it's just basically a smoky gray, and it's the ink I tend to reach for the most often when I ink up pieces of paper, basically for my foundation page. So now what I'm going to do is place everything on my 2 pieces of white cardstock to show you where I'm going with this. You can see that kind of tone on tone type print is the mat that's going to span across the 2 pages, and over there on the left is going to be a wide border. I'm going to fill in that little white area with two more strips of paper there, that wood grain paper and that lemon print. So now I'm going to place my photos and give you an idea where I'm going with this. So I have 3 horizontal and 6 vertical in those wallet size ones, and the 2 larger focal point photos, I guess I will call them, are going to go on that wide border. So you can kind of see where I'm going to go with this, and basically I plan to add 3 embellishment clusters. But first, what I want to do is adhere all of these page parts to my foundation page, and I also want to add my photos or adhere my photos. I decide at this point I'm going to just round the corners on that photo mat there. I wasn't quite sure, but in the end I quite like it, and I'm adding a little bit of ink as well. The corner rounder is the corner rounder from Creative Memories. So off camera, I adhered all of those page parts to the foundation page, including my photos, and I'm happy with that. And now what I want to do is just kind of walk you through what I have for my embellishing. So as you can see, I fussy cut a bunch of these lemons here. That's basically why I didn't buy the dies and stamps for this collection. I don't have that much need for lemons and oranges, and to be perfectly honest, the Stampin' die set only had oranges, and I can cut out those oranges and lemons from this paper, so I thought that was all I needed. As you can see as well, I'm showing you a bunch of circles there. I cut those out in Night of Navy cardstock, which coordinates with this paper pack, using these dies, Spotlight on Nature. Again, simply nested circle dies, but there's just a little something to them because there's an embossed or detailed edging around the circle. I also cut myself out some tags here. So I used that Country Woods wood grain paper for that, and I cut myself out 3 tags, 2 smaller ones, 1 larger one. I used those dies there for my stash. Those are from Tim Holtz. And I'm also showing you, I have these little orange slices. I made those for another layout using this very same paper collection, and I used this stamp set called Lemon Zest, something like that. It's an old one from Stampin' Up, and I'm just pointing out the ink. It's peach pie, and it was one of the colors that was listed that coordinated with this Mediterranean Blooms collection. Again, I used those orange slices on a past layout, and those are simply leftovers. Here are the alphas. Those are called Navy from Thickers. I also showed you a narrow strip of paper. I'm thinking I might fill in that area on the right-hand page just above the photos, and I'm also showing you my title, which is on wax paper. It's simply going to be Day 2 Nice Walking Tour, so I'm thinking of putting it along the top there as well. So now what I want to do is start building my cluster. So I'm going to start with the bigger pieces there. I'm just placing that narrow strip of lemon paper at the top, trying to figure out if I want it there or not. I'm going to establish 3 areas where I will be creating embellishment clusters. I started by placing those circles there, and now in each one of those areas, I'm coming in and tucking in a tag. So I'm actually slicing down 2 of the tags, the 2 that are going to be going on the right-hand page because I didn't need them that big. And the larger tag that is on the left-hand page, that's where I plan to do my journaling later on. Now I am coming in and adding those fussy cut lemon pieces in each one of those clusters. So basically I am simply repeating the same thing in each one of these clusters. Now when I do this, what I want to do is create the clusters in different sizes, because to boot, everything is repeated, but I don't want them to be identical, so I'm going to change them up by changing their size. So right now I'm kind of building around that cluster in the bottom right. Now I've moved over to the, actually I'm still in the bottom right. Now I'm basically moving around the page working on them, but you're gonna see I end up kind of tweaking them a little bit later on. At this point, I decide to remove that strip of paper. I'm a little bit wary of it simply because this paper is very, very bold. I did like it there. There certainly was a place for it, but I wanted to try it without as well. And in the end, that's how it goes. You can also see that cluster at the top kind of bumps up and crosses that border at the top of the page, which is going to make a space in my title there. So you can see Nieces on one side and Walking Tour will be on the other. So now I've decided to just go ahead and adhere all of this down. That's what you see me doing right now, working in that area in the bottom right. Now I am moving up towards the top as well. And again, I'm placing it so it kind of crosses that blue paper at the top, which is almost forcing my title to be separated, which is fine. I kind of like that. Now I'm adhering my title. I continue doing that off camera. You can see there's a space between day 2 and Nice Walking Tour. I will address that later on. I'm also showing you that I added one more lemon cluster to that area in the bottom right. So that just made that cluster a bit larger. Now what I'm doing is working on that cluster over on the left-hand page, quite simply just adhering everything exactly where I placed it. You can see I kind of have some lemons coming out towards the top from underneath that circle. That actually gets switched down. You can see it's gone now, and I basically tucked it under the photo. And the reason why I did that was because that cluster on the left was almost identical in size to the cluster in the bottom right. And again, I was trying to avoid that. Now what I want to do is do something to that area after day 2 in my title. So I found this old stamp set called Point and Click, and I'm showing you that on a piece of scrap paper, I stamped a little arrow. I did it on scrap paper because I didn't quite know how it would look, number one, so this way I could test it. I could also test the positioning of the arrow. Once I decided where it was going to go, now I'm ready to stamp directly on my foundation page, but I preferred to just test it out beforehand on a little piece of paper. So the ink I am using is Night of Navy. Again, it's the same color that is in the cardstock on the layout for those circles and my photo mats. It's also the same navy that you see in that pattern paper. So I just do it right after day 2. I'm happy with that. It just adds a little something. It makes day 2 just look a little less lost. And arrows are great little images to put on travel pages. Now all I have to do is add twine to the tag. So I'm using a twine from Stampin Up. It's basically Night of Navy with kind of a neutral color, and I'm just simply stringing it through the 3 tags. But basically, that is it. This layout came together so incredibly quickly. It's an easy design, and it's great for tons of photos. Off camera, all I did was add my journaling. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Have a great day, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.